Become your masters of war.
We are an empire now, and when we act, we create our own reality. And while you're studying that reality, judiciously as you will, we will act again, creating other new realities, and you can study that too. And that's how things will sort out. We're history's actors, and you, all of you, will just be left to study what we do. Karl Rove. The criminal elite have been very successful in remaining in power by using the age-old playbook of the Hegelian dialectic. It is a conflict between two seemingly opposite forces, but ultimately is the choice between two false choices for a predetermined synthesis solution. These rigged battles tend to only have emotional conflicts that never look at the logic of what they're really fighting over. The Democrats and Republicans are the easiest to see. They emotionally fight over issues of no real importance like abortion or gay rights. But the logical eye would see that underneath all the fluster is the real agenda that is constantly being pushed forward by both parties. More debts, more regulations, more war, more jobs shipped overseas, more loss of civil liberties. The best way to control the opposition is to lead it ourselves. Lenin. Today I want to expose another one of these Hegelian dialectics that I believe will allow the current criminal elite to control the next paradigm in our children's future if we don't stop it. The criminal elite know that the dollar is coming to its mathematically inevitable end, where the amount of new debt entering the system to keep it functioning will ultimately lead to a hyperinflationary depression, destroying the value of that currency. Since their entire debt and death paradigm is based off the loyalty to the dollar, they desperately need to create another perceived reality for them to continue their power and profits. The CIA has gone from fighting communists to fighting terrorists, and now it looks like they're mostly interested in money. They know that the greatest threat to their power is the failure of the dollar. They've had many conferences and simulations studying money, and have even taken an interest in Bitcoin when they did the Mobility of Money seminar June 14th through the 16th, 2011. Which, coincidentally, the largest Bitcoin market was hacked and crashed only 5 days later. I believe Bitcoin is just a small experiment of a much larger fraud that is coming our way. It will be the final false currency that will emerge out of the ashes of the dollar for the serfs to slave away for more illusionary wealth in the future. But there is a much larger real game at stake here, and this is where the big boys play. The illusion of freedom will continue as long as it is profitable to continue that illusion. At the point where the illusion becomes too expensive to maintain, they will take down the scenery, they will pull back the curtains, they will move the tables and chairs out of the way, and you will see a brick wall in the back of the theater. Frank Zappa. The dollar collapse will lead to the anger phase of humanity as millions of Americans come to the stark reality that their entire life has been spent chasing an illusion that has failed them. They will realize that they have no real wealth, real skills, or real friends. This will lead to riots and millions of antidepressant addicted individuals having psychotropic breaks from reality, resulting in some of the most inhumane crimes. Long after the currency wars have failed, the real wars will start for real assets. The first rush will be for nations to secure their gold. This is why nations like Venezuela, Germany, Austria, Russia, and China are buying real tangible assets and bringing it home where it is safe. After the currency wars have collapsed in an inflationary fire, the next level will be for energy resources the world over. This will lead to regional or even global war for real assets of the world. And at some point, the wars and fires will burn out, and we will see a new order establish itself. It is at that point that the Anglo-American Empire will set about creating a new monetary order, one in which I believe will be revolving around a gold standard. How they will go about establishing this is anybody's guess, but it is my belief that they will purposely crash the fiat dollar and all the other world reserve currencies. They will sacrifice their political and financial puppets to the angry masses that had lost everything. Then they will use new frontmen oligarchs to buy up all the natural resources and assets that are still left on the market at extremely cheap prices. Once they have control of these assets, they will set about pushing forward men that have long been gold standard proponents to provide the intellectual foundation for a new monetary order. This, I believe, will be the new Hegelian dialectic that they seek to enslave our children with. The Hegelian dialectic is the choice between two false choices for a predetermined outcome that has been long planned for. For many decades, the criminal elite have benefited off of something-for-nothing scams, where they build up the perceived value of something which has nothing, only to sell it to the masses for their time, energy, and wealth. This system has long been known to be unsustainable, Even its intellectual founding father, John Maynard Keynes, says, "In the end, we're all dead." The debt-based monetary system must create more debt every year in excess of the debt and interest accrued the year before, or it'll simply crash. Nations that do not print their own currency will suffer a deflationary depression, and nations such as the United States and Japan will constantly be flooded with new printed-up money since they control their own currency, and that will lead to a hyperinflationary depression. The end result is the same, as the wealth of all nations is destroyed, and the only thing that will be left are the real assets that have intrinsic and use value. After humanity has felt the crash of the dollar, which I feel will be the single largest event in human history, they will cry out for anything stable. And there the criminal elite will roll out their false choice, a gold standard which the bankers have controlled long ago. But this will not be a gold standard like we had in the past. They will merely use the idea of a gold standard to push forward their synthesis solution of a gold-backed digital currency, which of course is just another monopoly currency with no intrinsic value. All this will do is simply restart the debt and death paradigm and allow those that created this inflationary mess to once again reign over humanity for another century. I believe that those that created this mess should have no say on how the next monetary order should be built. We have it in our ability to build something that is sustainable, fair, and benefits all the masses. This, I believe, will only come from the opposite consciousness. The solution to monopoly currencies is competition in currency. The solution for illusionary wealth is real wealth. The solution for collectivist problems is individual responsibility. In short, we no longer have to choose between the lesser of two evils. We can at the very least choose on an individual level to do the right thing and become free of this manipulation.